Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the second video in our video series on process thinking. Today, we're going to be talking about risk assessment with Murray Sitzmer, the founder of the Luminous Group. Good morning, Murray.
Morning, Rich.
So, Murray, many companies have really sort of backed away from or struggled with the idea of risk assessment. Why is risk assessment seen as such a boogeyman?
It's tough. We're likely optimists. We want things to work. A lot of the clients we work with are engineers, and they want to get things right the first time and often don't think about failure, right? It's tough. It
Yeah.
sets you back. It takes a little effort. So I think risk is sometimes viewed as a four-letter word.
So, one question about that, Murray. We're using the term risk assessment, but some industries sort of use the term FEMA. Can you explain FEMA in one or two sentences? Obviously, that could be a whole podcast or hour-long conversation, but how are risk assessments and FEMAs related?
Well, that's a great question. So FMEA, or failure mode and failure mode and effects analysis, is taking a look at a process and looking at risk in a process. So you take your process as a backbone. Hopefully, if you already looked at our process mapping video, and know that a process is made up of steps. Why do you have a step? It adds value. If it adds value, there must be a requirement. FMEA takes the opposite point of view and says for each step, not only what I want to get right, but once I know what I need to get right, now I can think about the opposite. What could go wrong? Then I dig down to what are the causes of it. And then I can evaluate how likely the causes are, how severe the impact would be, and design in that same analysis tools ways to minimize it or prevent the cause, or to detect it before it goes out to the customer, whoever has the next step in the process.
Okay. So, is there always risk, Murray?
Risk is inevitable, right? Everything has variation. Things could go wrong. Whoever thought this COVID-19 thing would jeopardize 2020? So there's often pushes for contingency planning, for looking at risk, protecting the customer, because things don't always go right. So yes, risk is inevitable. And a lot of our clients are in manufacturing, mass manufacturing. The more you do it, the more things that have to come together correctly, meaning a lot of things could go wrong. We want to try to control those.
Okay, so now you kind of led into the next thing there. It's not just an assessment of what the risks are, but it's also about control. How does
Right.
control fit into this?
Well, because you want to take action. So FMEA is kind of like a conference room kind of activity. You're not looking exactly in the process, but you have it in mind. The result of that is you want to loop back to the plant floor, to the process, to the service that you're delivering, and say, what do I need to change? Could it be something that is physical, mechanical, a sensor that might not only reduce the chance, but actually prevent it? If I can't prevent it with something that is automatic, a sensor, a device, then I need to make sure people are doing the right things. And Rich, even you're not perfect, right?
Me?
So we need to
I'm an
train.
odd guy of interviewing?
So we need to train people, give them the best information. And even then, maybe you want to have someone looking over their shoulders periodically, something important to make sure that things are going right. So yeah, FMA lead. Otherwise, it's not worth doing.
So that's an interesting point, though, about the worth of doing it. If you identify all these risks, how do you decide what's worth working on?
Well, you want to look at relative risk. And risk is generally made up of how severe is the impact, right? Does it lead to a health safety injury? That'd be very high. Maybe it would lead to a customer defect. Maybe that'd be like medium, right? Relative to a safety issue. Or maybe it's kind of minor. Maybe it's a small appearance item that most people wouldn't worry about. Still not right, but it's not as severe. So a scale of severity. And the other scale that's used often is occurrence. How likely is it to happen? It's going to happen all the time, boy, that's going to be very costly. So I want to take action. If it's a once in a year, once in a 10-year event, I probably am not going to be willing to invest much in preventive or detection controls.
Okay. So Murray, can you kind of sum up for this? Why is it worth doing risk assessment?
Well, it's worth doing because the cost of a problem is something that you could prevent. So you want to take action to try to minimize the chance that you're going to have an event that will cause reaction, delays, interruptions, worst case, a complaint to a customer or a safety issue. So we want to take the time to minimize the risk and then subsequently mitigate it, minimize the impact that would be seen for our organization or for our customers.
So what I hear you saying is that this is a proactive tool rather than reacting to the failure. This is an opportunity to actually be proactive and prevent the problems from happening.
For sure, right? A lot of people are experts in problem solving because they solve a lot of problems. This is a chance to get ahead of the wave and anticipate what could go wrong, still focusing on causes, but doing it beforehand and try to anticipate what could go wrong by using a cross-functional team with broad experience.
And not only what could go wrong, but you also said the controls that could be put in place to reduce the likelihood of that occurrence from happening.
Exactly. Identify the risks, prioritize them, and then take action.
Awesome. And that will lead us to our next video, which will be about how do you actually implement those controls and document those controls? Because our next video's title is the control plan. So
That'll be
obviously
a
we'll
good one.
be talking about that. So Murray, if people do want to learn more about the risk assessment and how to implement risk assessments, what can they do to contact you?
Well, yeah, if you want to think more about risk assessment, how that fits with process thinking and process improvement, please visit our website. It's www.luminousgroup.com. That's LUMINOUSGROUP.com. We have blogs, we have information about our services as well, and contact us. And LinkedIn, we're also posting more on LinkedIn. Quick little hits and tips, some articles. We posted something Rich wrote earlier this week, and you'll find this on LinkedIn as theluminousgroup.com or Rich's page or my page.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Murray. Have a great afternoon, and we hope that you guys will all tune in to the next step in this, which is the control plan. Talk to you soon, Murray.
Thanks, Rich. Bye.